Hey everyone, Jamie Pate here. Today's video is a tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to craft this card. I made it a few weeks back as a birthday card for Heidi Swap. You may have seen the images on my Instagram feed or blog, but today I'm going to show you how to actually put it all together. To start, we're going to need just a few things to make the actual structure of this card. And might I add, this is going to be a really great idea to implement on a scrapbook page or a memory planner page. It can be any size you want. You just got to obviously sort of augment some of the measurements that I'm giving you. But then just to get this started, let me just share with you that you're going to need a 12 by 12 piece of paper. Now, I am making this card for my mother's birthday. It's going to be a little tough to see the score on here, but I think we're going to make it work. And then speaking of scoring, you're going to need a scoreboard. And I'm a big fan. This is probably my most used tool in this studio, and that is the We Are Memory Keepers trim and scoreboard, which actually also comes with its own score tool. So you see me use this all the time, and again, it's going to be very essential to this project. And then I think you might need a ruler just because of some of the scoring that we're going to be doing on this page and a few little tricks that we need. So let's get this started. Okay, to make this as clear as possible, and unfortunately I picked a very dark pattern to do the scores on. So this is one thing I like to do, whether it's a light piece of paper, I'll just lightly pencil on my background what the panel numbers are, if that makes sense. Then in this situation, since this is so dark, then I decided, well, we'll just put the numbers in place there, because this is what we're going to do first. On the 12 by 12, on the side that's going to be inside the card, so if this is a single-sided paper, this is going to be the white side. Score at 4 inches all the way down, and then after the 4 inches and make a nice score, then 8 inches all the way down. So you can see now how you have panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, and that's how I will be referring to them. Then you're going to rotate to the right just 1/4 and line that up again. And at this point we have a couple of different scores. So in panel 1, and this is why the ruler is going to come in handy. In panel 1, and while you may not be able to see it, I can see my score line right there. I am going to score, and I'm going to come in here and score at 4 in my first panel. Now in panel 2 and 3, I don't need my ruler at this point. I'm going to come up here and score at 7 1/4 just to my panel 1 line. Then in panel 3, so you see we've worked in panel 1, we've worked in panel 2 and 3. Now I'm just going to do panel 3, going to score at 4 1/2. At this point you probably can see that better on this side. Okay, so now for the next part. Okay, in panel 1 you're going to come along here at your, and I'm going to turn it over because I can see that better there. You're going to come here and cut at your 4-inch score. And then you're going to come along your long, and feel free to fold this if it helps you to see what it is that you actually need to cut. It's not going to totally matter because you're going to be cutting that off. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to cut off this entire panel here at the top. So come in there where you have scored that and cut off the top of this panel 1. And you're going to see how this is starting to take a little bit of shape. Next, you're going to cut along this line between 2 and 3 until you get to this line here, which is your 4 1/2. It makes it super easy to have these scores in place so that you don't have to try and figure out maybe on the scoreboard where it is you need to cut. I prefer it this way. Now on panel 3, the next thing you're going to do is, remember up here where you scored at 7 1/4, you're going to cut that panel off. Just like this. Okay, at this point we're pretty much ready to just fold all the pieces in to make our card. Now this is not only, this little piece here is not only going to fold over, but it's also going to fold this way. So I like to just trim a bit of the edge, kind of go in a little bit of a very, very skinny triangle, and just trim a little bit of that off. And then you're going to fold panel 3 over. Then you're going to fold it again on the inside. Just line up all your edges. If you need to trim a little bit of the paper, do that. I have like zero qualms with having to go back and trim some of the pieces up. Now this is going to fold over at its 7 1/4. And actually, when this is all said and done, it folds like this. So I just want to go up here and make my crease in my middle panel, in panel number 2. So then when the card is actually in motion, this closes, and then you have panel 1. Now, I like to go back here on panel 1, line it back up on my scoreboard, and I've already scored at 4 inches. I'm going to go back and just reinforce that just a little bit more. Then I'm going to come in here at the 3 7/8 mark. That's a little mouthful, and give a really good score there. The reason is I just have a little bit of bulk, and there's other things that are going to be added to the inside of this card. So I like to give a little bit of an extra score space. It's a little tricky to come in here and then try and refold, but it's not impossible. Just give it a bit of a minute to kind of massage the papers into place. This isn't rocket science or anything. It doesn't have to be completely perfect, but you'll know when you like it. So then now we have this coming, I'm sorry, I always do this wrong. Flap 2 comes down, flap 3 comes over, and then you have the makings of your paneled, pocketed, flip birthday card. Inside the other card, now I'm going to make a little small disclaimer here. This card is going to be just ever so slightly different because I don't have the other card here and I only have notes because I sent my card to Heidi for her birthday. So we are winging it here, friends, but it's okay because, you know, anything can go. You can make this shorter. You could have kept this piece up here and also flapped it. You could unflap this, or you could make this a slider pocket. There are so many things you can do with these flip kind of projects. So what I want to do now though is in the middle, I want to have a vellum pocket. And that's also going to kind of cut some of all that pattern, which you'll see here in a minute. So I have a 5 inch by 5.5 inch piece of vellum. And I'm going to come in here on the 1/2 inch marks and make just your classic pocket. Nothing fancy here. I do want gussets. I just wanted to have a little bit more room for the tag that's going to go inside of this. So I'm just showing you here, however you want to make a pocket that goes right there in the middle. Those are the dimensions that I decided upon. And so I could have 1/2 inch gussets here. So this, I've talked about this vellum before. This is a vellum fairly new to ScrapbookCom. If I recall, it is about 40 pound. It's a nice heavy duty vellum. Sometimes vellum can be just too thin for folding, and you almost always get really crisp edges. Oftentimes they'll just crack. And so I'm pretty happy with this one, and I like for this just to fit right in here. I hope I gave it enough room. I might need to go and adjust that a little bit, but that's going to fit right in there. So I'm going to adhere that down. My vellum pocket's in place. I just used a craft glue to adhere that, or you could use 1/4 inch double-sided sticky tape. Okay, then I cut a 3.5 by 6 inch piece of paper. I use the Sunset paper from Heidi Swapp Carefree. It has this great ledger on this side, which I'm a huge fan of, and I just buy this by the tons because I just love having ledger paper at the ready. And I am not good at making tag corners that are even and uniform because I can't cut a straight line to save my soul. So I just have this tag, it's probably a Tim Holtz tag, that is just at the ready, and I just line it up, and then I have these perfect little edges there for a tag, and that's gonna pop right inside there. That is the basic how-to for crafting this flip birthday card, or any kind of card, or any kind of project for anything you can possibly think of. I will be saving the embellishing for another video, but you have an idea on how to start some of this. Now, this, I will tell you, this is going to be a panel for additional sentiment and stamping, and there are some things that will add up here. And actually, now that I put that on there, I don't love that. I'm going to have to find a different pattern paper. Aren't you glad paper doesn't stick like immediately? It's like the best thing ever. And so, again, close that middle panel, close this last panel, fold over, embellish at will, but that is just one way in a million ways to make a flip birthday card, and I hope you found some inspiration here. If you're interested in anything that I used in making this, I have it all linked down below. If you're not a subscriber already, I'd love for you to be part of this community, and I will see you in the next video.